gives you answers. It's like taking that weight room quiz. All right. Okay. Number 1, flexibility. Okay. Wait. Excuse me. We have A, B, C, D, or E. Raise your hand if you have an answer to share. Jessica. Jessica put D, so put D up here, Jay. All right. Anybody have a different answer? Adrian. Adrian has E, so put E down here. All right. Yeah, it's on the side. That's why. Okay. What do you have, Victor? What's one? A. So put A up there. Okay. If you think it's D, stay seated. If you think it's E, stand up. And if you think it's A, put one hand up. Okay? All right. Adrian and Victor, you owe me 5 push-ups. The answer is D. So erase it, Jay. And put D there.
We've got a picture. That is a real picture. What do you think those soldiers are thinking at that moment? What do you guys think the soldiers are thinking? Adrian. That what? Good. What else? Edgar.
That they're gonna die.
Possibly. Possibly. What else? Myra.
That they're ready to fight for their country.
Good. What else?
That they're maybe gonna they're like thinking, are we gonna die?
Good.
That they're gonna fight for their country, but there's a chance they might lose.
What emotions do you think they're feeling? What emotions?
Worried.
Manuel?
Worried.
Worried. Kayla?
Scared.
Scared. T-Price?
Nervous.
Nervous. Chiquis?
Butterflies.
Take a look at the planning. So they're going to plan, and it's going to be called Operation Overlord. Overlord. What do you think Overlord means, Daniel?
To hide.
Well, not exactly.
I'm Morgan Spinell. I teach science and ELD. Using the Promethean board, I was really excited to get it this year, but unfortunately, because my board wasn't working at the beginning of the time, it was really hard for me to be as excited about the professional development and sharing my work with my peers, because I couldn't really share anything. Here's what my board was doing. The pen didn't work very clearly all of the time, and so even when we would have our lessons, the kids couldn't really read what we had written on the Promethean board, and then their handwriting wouldn't show up either, so it got to be very frustrating. The board is now fixed, and I'm excited about some of the new lessons that I've created and the lessons that I am working on for next school year with my new kids.
So, how is technology challenging you as a teacher and a learner?
The Promethean board really has challenged me in many ways. At first, when I got the board, it was just learning a lot of the little things to do, so it really became a kind of a glorified whiteboard for me. The interaction piece was that kids could come up and actually write on the board. And at this point, my challenge is, how do I use this board? How do I plan so that this board becomes the catalyst for learning and for rich, critical thinking and discussion among the kids in a way that papers can't do?
So how is planning different with the technology than without it as before?
Well, I just think there are so many more supports I can bring together is what affects the planning. So, where before I might have had an objective and we would look at a text and I would ask some questions, now I can bring in the picture support, I can bring in sound and video, I can bring in interactive pieces into the board, in order for us to have this kind of rich conversation that really brings the kids in-depth understanding and learning.
So what do you think the impact of the technology is on your students as learners?
I think the impact is huge. It's definitely a more engaging piece. The kids really appreciate the visual presentation. So again, that goes back to my challenge of how do I continue to really be more visually explicit and more visually engaging in what I put up here. But I think they really appreciate that piece. The discussions that this creates, sometimes the arguments that this creates, that to me is the power and the learning that come from the board.
So what do you see as your immediate next step with the technology and supporting your students?
I would say my immediate next step is to probably really learn some more of the tools and the pieces that I can use to refine what I put up here. So refine the presentation of this piece so that it becomes even more interactive. I feel like right now I'm still doing a lot of the, hey, look at this, where I want the kids to come up and say, well, here's what I noticed, and they take on some more of that teaching and sharing of their thinking, so that ideally my classroom becomes a place where I'm just another learner in the classroom, and we're all teachers, and we all can use this as a catalyst to share our thinking.
So it sounds a little bit like your bigger vision, the not so immediate next step. So talk a little bit more about where you see this next year or the year after that, how technology will support you as a learner and your students as learners.
I really see the kids taking on more of the demonstration piece. I see more, it's not just me like saying, hey guys, look at this, but I see the kids sharing what they've learned or what they know or what they're thinking about, and then we all come together around that. I just see it as more of an independent learning classroom where, you know, I'm just not the only expert in the room, so that we all sort of share that responsibility for learning, sharing our thinking.